Inequalities, Day 3. Hurricane George is 250 miles from the coast of South Padre Island and is approaching the coast at a rate of 20 miles per hour. I want to point out here we see per. That means we're going to multiply, and usually we'll find our independent variable very close by right there. So it's 20 times hours. Number 1, make a table to show the relationship between the number of hours and the distance from the coast. So it starts at 250 miles away, and then it gets closer, so that means we're subtracting, the distance is less. 20 times the number of hours, in this case it's 0 hours, so that's going to go here, 0, which gives us 250 miles. At 1 hour, we figure it is 250, the initial position, times 20, or minus 20 times 1. It's 230. 250 minus 20 times 2 hours. It's 210. 250 minus 20 times 3 hours is 190. Write an expression describing the relationship between the number of hours, and the distance. Okay? So our distance, d, is equal to, then we can look up here. What did we do here? We did 250 minus 20, and since we're not given a specific time, we're going to use h for hours. Create a table using the calculator to find the answer to the following questions. Number 1, if at least 3 hours have elapsed, what is the distance of the hurricane from the coast? So let's look at our calculator over here. We're going to go to y equals, and we're going to put in the equation, the side of the equation that has the independent variable. Looks like I've got a little let's say y equals, it's not working. Let's try this from the beginning. Sorry for the delay here, but it happens. Alright, let me close this down. We're going to go to our y equals, and we're going to put in the 250 minus 20, and then we don't have an h. Well, actually there is an h here, but we always use this, which means variable. It says x, t, theta, or n. We're going to use x. And we're going to look at our table. I need to hit the second button and then graph. So I'm looking for the point where the table is going to show 3, 2, and 4. So at 2 hours, it's 210. 3 hours, it's 190. 4 hours, it's 170. If the hurricane is no more than 75 from the coast, what I need to do is I need to go over here, and I'm looking for distance. They gave me the distance. So I need to come here and I need to look and see 75 is between 8 and 9. See, here is 70, there's 90, 75 is between 8 and 9. So I'll put 8, it's at 90, 9, it's at 70. Number 5, when will the hurricane be no more than 100 miles? Again, we have our 100, and it fits in between 7 and 8. So I'll mark that. 7 and 8, 110, and 90. So we know our answer would be somewhere between 7 and 8 hours. What is the distance from the coast if no more than 10 hours have elapsed? So here we have 10, 11, 12, or excuse me, I did that wrong. I did it backwards. That 11 is right. But I need to put here is 9. 9 hours. So come over here. 9 is 70, 50, and 30. So no more than 10 hours. So we're looking at values that way. No more than 10. How many hours will it take for the hurricane to be less than 15 miles? So I'm looking for a number less than 15 here. And I see that at 11 it's 30, and at 12 it's 10. So it would have to be somewhere this way, somewhere that way. Solve and graph. So I don't need this anymore, or I don't need this anymore. So let's just look at this. We're going to move our constant. Remember, bring down our negative sign or minus sign. It makes it a negative. 6 minus 7 is negative 1. Now, to change our sign, we divide by negative 1. Let me get rid of this alert. And whenever we divide or multiply by a negative number, we must change our sign. X is less than 1. Since it has no equal sign with it, we put an open circle, we draw our line, thus. All right. Here we have to combine like terms. 9x minus 5x gives us 4x plus 2 is less than or equal to 16. Subtract 2. Subtract 2. 4x is less than 14. We're going to divide by 4. Divide by 4. We get x is less than, well, 14 divided by 4 would be 7 over 2, which is 3.5. So let's do this. 3.5, 4, 4.5, 3, 2.5, and let me get my equal sign in there. It does have the equal sign, so we're going to put our circle, fill it in, and it points to the left. So that's the direction our arrow is going to go. All right, number 10, we have variables on two sides. Since 8 is less than 9, I'm going to move my 8x. I end up with x minus 12 is greater than or equal to 80. Add 12 to both sides. I have x is greater than or equal to 92. Okay, since I do have my equal sign, I'm going to draw my circle and then fill it in. It's pointing to the right, so I'm going to go to the right with my arrow. All right, I'm going to move my constant. I need to to bring this whole thing down. So that's negative x over 2 is less than or equal to negative 16. To get rid of this negative and the 2 on the bottom, if you don't have any numbers up top, just a variable, you multiply by the bottom number. And we're going to multiply by negative 2, so we get rid of the negative sign. Negative 2. So, in order to, when we multiply or divide by a negative number, we need to change our sign. So, instead of the less than or equal to, it becomes greater than or equal to. And then I end up with x is greater than or equal to negative 16 times negative 2 makes it a positive 32. 32, 33, 34, 31, 30. So it does have the equal sign, so when I draw my circle on that, I'm going to fill it in. It's pointing towards the right, so I'm going to draw my arrow to the right. And there we go. Alright, 9 times a number, so that's 9x, is no more than, so that means it could be less than and it could be equal to 81. So when I draw my circle, I've got the equal sign right here. So I'm going to fill that in. It's pointing to the left. I'm going to draw it to the left. 4 times a number. I'm going to use x for a number. Plus 12 is greater than 20 minus 8. We can do this. 20 minus 8 is 12. Now let's move our constant for x is greater than 0. Divide by the coefficient. We get x is greater than 0. Alright, so we're going to put we don't have an equal sign, so we're just going to draw our circle at 0. It means 0 cannot be part of the solution. The line goes, or the sign goes to the right, so I'm making my arrow to the right. 30 minus a number is at least 4, so it can be equal to 4 and it can be greater than. So remember, when we have this minus sign that's there, we're going to bring it down. It becomes a negative. It's greater than or equal to negative 26. In order to get rid of a negative, we're going to divide by negative 1. That changes it to a positive. Okay. We're dividing by a negative, so what do? We need to change our sign. So it ends up x is less than or equal to 26. Come here, 26, 27, 28, 25, 24. It does have the equal sign, so when I put my circle on 26, I'm going to fill it in. It points, the inequality points to the left, so I'm going to draw my arrow to the left. And there you have it. Make sure to bring any questions you have to class.